our last discussion, you were talking about the evidence, right? So that's why
Mhm.
I had to brought up this one, because
Mhm.
as of now, till today, there is no such evidence for origin of life, even like
But then
after
there is no
150.
evidence for God either, right? My point is this: we have a field devoted to study the origin of life. It
Hmm.
has come up with certain hypotheses which are based on observational data. On the
Hmm.
other hand, we have a theory about God for which there is no data. So even if this theory is incomplete, it is more likely to be paid attention to, correct?
So here you're misquoting one thing. So
Misquoting who? I haven't quoted anyone.
no, the science itself. You're saying origin
I
of
haven't
life.
quoted anyone. I'm telling you that we have a limited understanding of how abiogenesis happened. That's all I said.
Yeah. So are you agreeing with that? That's my point.
I'm agreeing with the fact that we have a limited understanding of how abiogenesis
No,
happened.
not
A
the
limited
limited,
understanding is
not the
better
limited,
than no understanding.
not the
No?
limited I'm talking. I'm talking
Then
about
what
the
are you talking
origin of
about?
life. The scientists proposed the origin of life. They
Hmm.
proposed a mechanism how it could be possible.
Yeah.
And do you agree with like
I
the
agree with the
statement
fact
that
that they proposed a mechanism, and I pointed out that the other side, which is religion, has proposed no mechanism.
yeah, yeah, but
At
we'll
least we
talk about
have
the
a
religion.
mechanism proposed on this side. What is there on the other side?
Oh, we have plenty of proposals as well,
Okay,
but
tell me the proposal. Give me a proposal. Give me an example of the proposal that shows that
you want scientific
life was
proposal,
created by
or
God.
so you want the scientific proposal or philosophical
There is a
proposal
scientific
simplify?
proposal involving God.
What?
There is a scientific proposal for origin of life involving God.
No, that's what I'm asking. Do you want the scientific proposal or like philosophical proposal is enough?
Go ahead, whatever makes you comfortable.
What would you like? I mean,
Is
what would
there,
you?
answer my question, is there a scientific proposal involving the origin of life involving God?
I'm sorry, I didn't get your question. Sorry.
Is there a scientific proposal about the origin of life where God plays a role?
No, that's what,
Then
right?
how?
Like
Then
when
there
it
is no
comes to
choice, right? We have to go to the
when it's
philosophical one. If there is no scientific one involving God, then we have to go to the philosophical one.
okay. So you agree, right? Like like it's enough. Like we don't
What?
need we don't need scientific explanation or
It
scientific
doesn't matter what we need. We don't
experiments.
have it. So we are going to have to make do with the philosophical one.
Yeah, so that's I like that. So in our last conversation, I remember. So if there is evidence, like philosophical or historical,
Hmm.
um, so do you take that as a evidence or not? Like specifically
Depends
you.
on the claim. Depends on the claim. What is the claim here? That God
I mean,
exists?
yeah. So God
Define
exists.
God.
Yeah,
Define God.
you don't know God, the definition of
I'm
God.
asking you for your definition of God because everyone I ask gives a slightly different one. I don't
I'll
want to
go with your
strongman you.
definition.
I don't have a definition. You're the one who believes in God. I don't think God is like I don't know what you're talking about when you say God. Whenever
I
I
see.
talk to someone, they give different definitions. So I don't want to strawman you. That is why I'm asking you to give me your definition of God so we can talk about that instead of me going on some other tangent. And
I
later
see.
you saying that I'm not talking about God, I'm talking about something else.
I see. So you said you are atheist, right?
Yes.
What does atheist mean? Who's someone who
I
doesn't
lack
believe in God?
belief in I lack belief in the claims of gods.
You like believe in claims of God or
Yeah, people claim
God
that
itself?
God exists. People claim that God exists. They have never given a good example, given good evidence of it. Therefore, I lack belief in every claim of God that I have heard so far. If yours is different, I'll be happy to
So,
hear it.
so your classical atheist definition is different than different actually.
I
Um,
just told you what my position is. You can either
so when
deal
you
with
say
my
you are atheist,
position or you can
mhm,
go for some classical definition you found somewhere else and address that. My position is that so far, whenever someone has given me a definition of God, they have not provided evidence for it. So I lack belief in all of them. Now it is
all
your
of them
turn to
what?
give me your definition of God.
Yeah, Vimo, like you just, I feel like you just, for the sake of the argument, you just change the definition because
What
in the
definition did I
classical, if
change?
it, yeah, the
What
classical
definition did I
atheism,
change?
yeah, I'm telling you, the classical definition of atheism is who
Christian
someone
Prince,
lacking
why
belief in
are you
God.
not telling me your definition of God? It is a very simple question.
And I'm like, it's very silly that when you know, like when you are well aware of the definition of God, or like when we
Why are
are
you saying that
referring,
I'm well aware of the definition of God?
because
You
you are
haven't told me
atheist,
any.
right?
You haven't given it to me. This is a
Because
waste
you
of
are
time.
atheist, right?
Christian Prince, tell me your definition
Hmm.
of God or I'll move on to someone else. It's a waste of time.
So, okay, my definition of God is
Mhm.
someone who created the universe, who is
Created?
outside the universe, who is
Okay.
powerful. Yeah,
Okay. So your definition of God is someone who's outside the universe.
outside the universe, who created the universe, who is all powerful, all good, all kind, who
How
is
do you know such
personal,
a being exists?
based on the evidence that provided, like the supernatural
What
things
evidence do
or
you have of anything outside the universe?
outside the universe.
How, you said God is outside the universe, right?
Uh-huh.
How
If
do you know there is something outside the universe?
if God wants to reveal, He doesn't reveal outside the universe when we are inside the universe. So He revealed inside
Again,
the
no, no, no,
universe.
no, 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 no. You said
Hmm.
you have a definition of God. Your definition of God is that, among other things, it is a being apparently outside the universe. How do you know there is anything outside the universe?
Because God revealed Himself, Vimo. Like last time, I already mentioned that. Like
Can you give
we
me an
have the
example
evidence.
of? Can you give me an example of how this revelation happened?
Revelation happened through Word, God's
You mean
Word.
you read this in a book?
Yeah, of course, right.
So
So
there are plenty of religions on earth, and they all say that many of them say that they have books that make claims about God. What makes your claim different from theirs?
because of the internal coherency, historically coherence, and
They all claim
geographically
they have it.
coherent,
They all claim they have it.
but they are not true, right? That's the problem here. That's what
That's
you
what
don't
you think.
understand.
Because listen, every one of them, if they were here, would say that they're true and you're not.
So that, so when you don't, when you didn't look at the actual text and the evidences they have, for example, if there's a book, so
Have you
you
read
have
all the
to
other books?
support it.
Have you read all the books from the other religions which claim that they have the right definition of God?
So as of now, whatever they claimed, I didn't find
Have you
any.
read all the other books that claim that they have the evidence of God?
I just read some parts, but I don't need to
If you
read
have not
because
read all of them, then how do you know they're wrong?
the one who are believing or studying or reading for years, so they claim some statements about that
Yeah,
books,
so basically,
and then
your
we.
reason for
Mhm.
thinking that your book is correct is that some people have said that it is correct.
Some people, not some people, like I actually looked at the evidences, the book
You
claims.
haven't. You just told me that you haven't looked at the evidences or all the religions
I'm
that
talking
claim that they have the right definition of God.
the claims. I looked at the evidence for the those claims. Not you. You asked me to. Did you
Christian
read the
Prince,
book?
there are two things happening here. One,
Mhm.
you say that if we read your book and evaluate it in just the right way, we will come to the same conclusion that you have, right?
Yeah,
If that can be said about your religion, it can be said about other religions also.
they can be said, Vimo. Like you're not getting the point actually. So the
I am
claims,
getting the point,
everyone can,
unfortunately. Unfortunately for you,
everyone,
I am getting the point.
everyone
If
can claim
every
anything,
book in
right?
the world, listen, if every religion in the world has a book, that book makes
Hmm.
some claims, and
Hmm.
you are in the position of either being able to read the book or not. Now, even if I accept that you have a book that is better than the others and it corresponds to all the things that you have just said, it still doesn't prove that that book is right about everything that is written in it. You still have to show me some way of coming to the conclusion that there is something outside the universe. Even if everything you're saying, you can't get to that conclusion, and B, every book is saying something else, and C,
So
you haven't read them.
okay, so let me put this point here. So if a book like claims some events that are beyond the natural and that they are actually happened, and the same book claims that there is a God, so why can't you like rely on them, like when it's accurate
If I have a
in
book
terms of the
that makes
events?
10 claims, if I have a book that makes 10 claims and 9 of them are correct,
Mhm.
does it is it logical to assume that the 10th one must also be correct?
So you need 100% of proof for anything, everything?
For something this serious? Sure. I mean, definitely more than what you're offering. I gave you this example last
So
time, I think, about if
yeah,
you
so
ask me,
and
if it depends on the claim, right? If you come to me and say there's a bicycle standing outside my house, I'll say, okay, I won't go and check. If you say that unless you go outside your house and eat this tablet right now, your entire family will die in the course of the next 2 years, I will need more evidence of that, right? Because it's a more serious claim. If you're talking about God, it's a very serious claim. So you
okay, so
can't
when you
expect me
said
to put my faith in just
mhm.
randomly, oh, look, there is this book and it says something, it must be true. I need more than that,
Okay,
right?
okay, so you just said one example for medical pill, that so if someone says that if you take this pill you all die, so you will ask more evidence. But
Hmm.
even if someone doesn't say that, so on what basis are you believing that
On the
pill and
seriousness of
taking
the
that?
claim, on the seriousness, the claim was
Yeah,
that my
any,
entire family will die if it's a
no,
headache
not the
and there's a
entire,
tablet. Listen,
not
if
the
it's a
entire
headache,
family.
if
Hmm.
it's a headache and I have a
Hmm.
tablet and there's a 50-50 chance it either cure me or it won't cure me, I'll take it and take my chances because what am I losing, right? But if what I'm losing is my entire family, then I definitely need more evidence.
So you say that just a headache tablet, but you, like I'm sure you don't know the complexity of like any medical pill. So it is very dangerous in some cases, like if it misreacts,
Christian
in
Prince,
our
that's
body,
a
like
red
you
herring.
can.
Red herring. You understood what my example was about. Don't try to take it into complexity of pills. I'm talking about the seriousness of the claim. If you're saying that God exists outside the universe
Mhm.
and that believing in that God will decide the course of my life after my death, then that's a very, very serious claim. And I cannot accept it on the basis of, look, this book says something, just believe it. I
So
need more than
Vimo,
that.
yeah, Vimo. So even the medical pill is the same as serious as a claim you just mentioned, right? Because it's about life.
Christian
Even a
Prince,
small
I
pill
think you're diverting
can.
the issue. I think you're
I'm
diverting
not
the issue. If you
diverting.
continue to do this, I'll end the conversation and move to someone else. I need to know
See, Vimo.
the answer to the question I asked you previously. If there is a book and it has 10 claims and 9 of them are proven to be true, is it logical to assume that the 10th one must also be true? Yes or no?
Of course, right? Yeah, of course. Like I believe that because we cannot
Huh,
rely
that's
on our
because
life.
your standards are
No, we
low. My
cannot.
standards are high. I cannot base my decision about the origin of the universe on evidence as flimsy as that. I cannot. I'm sorry.
So we cannot rely our life on like 100% proof or 100% evidence. That you should, and everyone should realize that, right? Of course, like I
I do
gave a
realize
very
that,
good
but I'm not
example.
asking for 100% evidence. You haven't even told me 1% of evidence. A,
What?
the book thing does not float because there are many books, and you have decided that the book that your family follows is the correct one for some reason, un- not understandable at all. B, even if I assume that the things you're saying about the book are true, it still doesn't lead me to the conclusion that you want to take me to. If
So
this was
that's
the
what I'm
standard,
saying,
by
right?
the way,
You are looking
if
for
this was the
100% proof.
standard, Christian Prince, if this was the
Mhm.
standard, I could fall for any religion. Muslims, Hindus, they all make claims like this.
Yeah, you cannot fall because like everything cannot be
Why
possible.
not? You did.
Of, because
You
no,
did. You
we
did. You
cannot
fell
we
for the
cannot
claims of a book that your family reads. You certainly fell for it.
no, like I feel for the evidence, no,
No, you
not for
didn't. You
the
haven't even
random
evaluated.
claims.
You haven't even evaluated
I
all the
just
evidence,
gave you.
Christian Prince. You haven't read all the books out there. You have read the one book that your family follows, and you evaluated it to the best of your ability. And
The first thing.
even given the fact that that study is not taking you to the conclusion that you want to other people to go to, you still have to admit that you just fell for it. It's a book with some stories in it. It is not an
It's not
account of the
stories,
universe.
Vimo. You never looked at the evidences, and then you just
Just like you
like
did not look
randomly
at the evidence from
claiming.
other religions.
other religion, when they are not logically coherent, and
How
a
do you
lot
know
of
they're not
philosophical.
logically coherent? You haven't studied them.
What I know the concepts of them.
You have not studied every religion in existence. Therefore, you cannot, by your own standards, come
I
to the
s-
conclusion that they are false.
I said I read some concepts in them, and when they are logically incoherent, like it doesn't make sense to
Christian
go
Prince, I
further
have
and then
also read some concepts in the Bible. Is it
and did you
sufficient for
find?
me to come to the
Yeah,
conclusion by your standard that it is false?
yeah. Did you find any logical incoherency or?
I'm saying
Um,
there are Christians who have, right? There are priests who have left Christianity. There are atheists
yeah,
who have
that's
been
what I'm.
Christians their whole life. How did they not come to the conclusion that you have? So clearly, that book is not irrefutable evidence. If someone can read that book their entire life and still come to the conclusion that there is no God, clearly the infallibility that you're assigning to that book is not there.
So logical coherency is not subjective, Vimo. You should understand this. It's objective.
If there is
So
anyone
just
here who's
because you
falling for
feel.
their subjective opinion, it is you, Christian Prince. No one else.
No, no, no. So
Anyway, this was a fun conversation. I'm moving on to someone else now. Bye bye.
okay.
Say bye bye.
Bye bye.